Good evening.
There we go. I keep forgetting again. And Adrian show up just in time to notice.
Yes, she does.
I was saying he was telling me no, so I was saying, "Come here, I won't hurt you."
Uh, Forewarning, tonight we're going to keep it short. I already drank my ZQL because I need to be getting up early the next couple days. So I got to get ready for a big 13-hour drive on Saturday.
Oh boy.
That's
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Plan is to get up about 2 a.m. Saturday morning and be on the road between 4 and 5
Hey Sean.
Aren't you going to be packed before and all that good stuff?
tomorrow.
Then why in the hell do you need to be up 2 hours early or 3 hours early?
Thank Adrian.
You're going to write before you leave.
Yes, I am.
Jesus.
That's what I kind of figured too.
Uh,
Work never ends.
His
oh,
work
yes,
is
it
never
does.
done.
It's called Clock Out Thursday at 6 p.m. Yes, it does.
Yeah, but I really enjoy what I do, so I don't want to stop.
I enjoy what I do too. Oh, yesterday for the very first time in the whole time I've been there, somebody's last words to me were, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How's that a good way to end that conversation? Jeez.
Well, when they don't get what they want, they get a little upset, and hey, and yeah.
Up top.
So you know, they hung up before I could say what I had to say.
I kind
Well,
of figured.
probably a good thing they did because they wouldn't
It
like what
probably
I
is.
had to say.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I may not have my job if I would have continued.
That is true. Hey,
Yep.
Chantel.
Chantel, hey.
So glad to have you join us tonight.
Hmm.
So, this has been quite the interesting week. Um, and once again, seeing the ugliness
David.
of some
Oh my
people.
God. David Childers is
They
here.
were
I haven't
Hi,
seen him
Dave.
in a while. Holy
Childers.
cow. Childers. I keep saying Childers all the time. Yeah.
I'm
Good to
going to
see
be
you,
doing,
David.
I'm going to be harassing your sister on Saturday.
Does he claim her still?
I don't know, David. Do you still claim Eileen?
I just wish Eileen was here to. It's like one of those ones saying, where the hell is Eileen when we need her?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
was able to explain what was,
Hmm.
why she's not coming on today. For those who don't know, it's already been um, posted, but Donald Martin's wife's father passed away, and today was his funeral.
Right.
So heavy day for them, for the whole family.
Yeah. And from what I understand, it was kind of unexpected too.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know that you can actually expect. I mean,
Well, yeah, you
no,
never
but
expect it. Yeah,
don't know that it makes it any less. It might be less of a shock, but it's not any less hurtful.
right.
Right. Yeah. And even if it was something that you're expecting, you still don't expect it when it actually happens.
Right, right. Yeah, there's no good way to do that.
Yeah. So it's terrible, but unfortunately, it's a very normal part of life.
Yeah, unfortunately, the reality is we all got to go at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how you get there.
Yep.
Exactly.
How you get there and how you live each day. Thank you, Chantel. How you live each day and did you make it count?
Yeah.
Right. Uh, Sean said, "Are you getting any of that?" Oh, yeah. You know what? It's funny that you asked that, Sean. Yeah. If you guys, I don't know if you're getting it, Jeremy. I know you're going to pretty much be on the road, but we're supposed to, yeah, we're supposed
Saturday.
to, what's that?
Saturday I'll be on the road.
Okay. Yeah, we're supposed to be apparently getting some pretty bad weather tomorrow. It's supposed to, well, to start off with, it's supposed to be like 70 degrees tomorrow over here. So that kind of does make sense. They said originally before that I think it was going to happen more in the central and southern parts of the state, but now they're saying that we might be in that not in the red zone, but we are in kind of the orange and yellow zone. So there's an outside chance we might be getting some of that bad weather. Could be a chance we might get some tornadoes possibly.
It's supposed to be in Alabama on Saturday.
It's like stretching all the way from Illinois to Alabama. I mean, it's
You know that?
affecting several states.
Yeah, yeah. What was it that happened? I'm sure you'll know. I claim her. Okay. Um, so do you know what happened in Florida? I've been seeing prayers for Florida, but I haven't.
No, I haven't actually seen very much about like what's going on over there.
I haven't seen anything about Florida.
Yeah,
And
I
I
haven't heard
know
anything
that
about
it's
it at
supposed to
all.
be raining Saturday night in Mississippi because
Yeah, they
Eileen
posted
was. Huh?
they posted storm shelters and where to go and all kinds of stuff in Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because um, this is around that time of year where a lot of those, states like Mississippi and Alabama, as well as Georgia, they usually get a lot of the tornadoes around this time of the year. But
54
going to get
to
extreme
60.
strong wind. Yeah, we got a few of those days too.
That's normal from when I lived in New Mexico. That was normal. You see your
Oh, we
friends
had that a few days ago. That was us too a few days ago.
Yeah, you see your friend's trampoline going across your yard. You're like, okay,
I
it just
had
stops in the yard. I'll give it
I,
back.
I got a whole bunch of I've never taken a picture of it, but I got a whole bunch of like Irish flags, the flags of Ireland that I put outside obviously for upcoming St. Patrick's Day. That garden flags. And yesterday I came across, no, 2 days ago, I came across a few that literally blew on the other side of the street in the neighborhood to some of the other neighbors' houses. And I had to go back and recollect them and really stick them hard into the ground so they didn't blow away again. But those winds were quite strong.
Yeah, it says there's an outbreak for him Saturday.
Yeah, there's
Louisiana. David said Louisiana as well. So it's going to stretch way further than just
yeah,
Alabama and Mississippi.
yeah.
Of course,
I
all
think,
the places I'm
hey,
going
Gary,
this week, next week.
what's that?
Of course, all the places that I'm going to next week.
Yeah, from what I've seen is that it's like stretch again. I think it's stretching like to kind of like from Illinois all the way I think to parts of Ohio to as far south, like as Alabama and as far southeast as Louisiana. Maybe even
Oh, look,
partially Texas too.
quite a big tornado in Florida the other day. That's probably what they
Oh
were talking
wow.
about.
I didn't hear anything about that honestly.
I don't hear much unless it's on Facebook during the week.
Yeah.
But then you don't believe everything you see on Facebook either. So I just like, okay, I'll look it up later and never do.
It's funny that this is all occurring because strangely enough, in just a few days, the day after St. Patrick's Day, March 18th, it's going to be representing the 100th anniversary of the deadliest tornado in U.S. history. That was the Great Tri-State Tornado of 1925. And
Which tri-states?
this was back. This occurred in Missouri, southern Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, across 3 states, and it still holds the rank for being the single deadliest. 695 people were killed by this tornado. Hey, Gary.
Gary? I was just trying to figure out who it was, and it showed it. Okay.
In fact, they're supposed to have an event coming up this because obviously March 18th is going to be on a hey Joanne, March 18th, because it's going to be on a Tuesday this year. I found out they are going to be having like a centennial event in one of the hardest hit towns, and that was in Murfreesboro. So it's not a very big event, but they're going to be bringing like different meteorologists, talk about the tornado, like saying if it happened today, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Honestly, I really wanted to go down to it, but unfortunately, Murfreesboro is about 6.5, 7 hours south of me, so there's no way we can make it. So what I'm actually going to do instead, just so you guys know this too, is I'm going to get started working on it later tonight. I'm actually going to briefly, once again, revive the Nick Files to do my own anniversary special to talk about the Tri-State Tornado.
That sounds interesting.
It's going to be interesting, and it's just, I don't know what it is about that event. That one is definitely far different than any other event that's involved tornadoes. That's for sure. Especially the horrific high death toll from that one. Skateboard away you go.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay.
Means you're going away on a skateboard.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to really look forward to when I put this together, and I'm glad I've waited for so long before ever creating the slideshow, somebody has made some artist impressions of what this tornado may have looked like that hit 100 years ago. Because, as you would probably expect, there are no photographs or film footage or even surviving sketches of the tornado itself in progress. For years, we can only imagine what it probably would have looked like. But now someone made some artist impressions of what it looks like, and it's probably as close as I pretty much imagine how it would look. No, they didn't have the tech. Yeah, you're right, Sean. They didn't have the technology or safe rooms like we do now. And plus, prior to 1950, even the U.S. Weather Bureau, they weren't even allowed to say the word tornado or hurricane. They were that if you guys didn't, yeah, they were not allowed to do that because they feared it would cause the public to panic.
Well, here's the thing, though. No, they do that now with things. Oh, people are going to panic when they find out by themselves. Then they're conspiracy theorists. But I know that Kentucky, there's a valley in Kentucky. There's a tornado alley in every place. But Kentucky, Kansas, and Oklahoma, certain places in those certain areas there have to have, you cannot build a house without a cellar or a storm shelter.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen a lot of them. I've lived in, places where they had them. You ain't going down there unless there's a damn good reason. You better be dying because that place is nasty.
From what I heard, believe it or not, because everybody always thinks like Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas are the states that started the whole thing with the storm shelters and basements. If you guys are able to tune in, if you guys really look into this tri-state tornado that I'm going to be, it was pretty much southern Illinois and Indiana that really began the trend of starting storm shelters and basements, because 100 years ago, not many people had them back then, even in those states.
Wow.
It was quite a horrific event, and even still to this day, there's at least 3 towns that were hit by this tornado that they never recovered from it.
Well,
yeah, just go live around Oklahoma.
There's one city out there that seems like it's getting hit every single year.
Well, Sean just said, just go live around Oklahoma City area. Yeah, they've been struck almost 100 times now since 1890.
Yeah, my daughter lives less than an hour from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I think the total number I think has now been because there's a whole list that you can go through of all the tornadoes that have struck the Oklahoma City metro area. They've been hit at least 96 times now since 1890, even before Oklahoma even became a full state in 1907.
My ZQL is already starting to take effect on me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
It don't work for me that well.
Oh,
Sometimes
and also,
it be very well. Other times it takes a while for it to kick in.
right. That reminds me of one more thing. This slideshow that I'm going to be having, I'm going to make it like kind of an open invite in case anyone actually wants to come on and like give their thoughts and opinions on it. But I've also extended the invite. You probably might remember this, Jeremy, but I've even extended that invitation to John Doherty because I thought, you know what? He would be great to have on while I'm talking about this.
He's off work at that time?
Yeah.
Because I remember there was one time he was saying that he was working until 9 o'clock at night.
Right. Ed. Yeah, because I even thought to myself, thinking, how cool.
Looky. He tipped his hat.
Oh,
Remember, you were looking for that last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
yeah, because I thought it would be kind of cool, like, to have an actual storm chaser in this case be on the show and really get a good detail of what happened 100 years ago.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the more enjoyable one-on-ones that I had on the 13th Dimension, having him
That
on.
was, oh man, that was great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know I was late for it, but that was because I was sleeping. But then as soon as I saw that you guys were on,
Messaging you.
yeah, I was sleeping then. But as soon as I woke up, I was hooked on it immediately.
Like, ding, 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 ding. Hey, Nikki, where are you?
I still find it hard to believe that. I mean, it's interesting that he lives in that town of Fritch in the Texas Panhandle.
Well, he's looking to move out of there.
That's like a huge tornado-prone town right there because it's in the middle of the Panhandle. I mean, there's been some pretty intense tornadoes that have struck Fritch.
It's all through there.
Yeah.
It's not just the Panhandle is actually not one of the worst.
No, it's not.
But Oklahoma, Kentucky,
Yeah.
Missouri, parts of Missouri.
Well, even Johnson, Mississippi, and
Kansas.
Alabama have some of the worst down there too.
I don't want to hear that.
It's funny. I lived in western Kansas growing up. I never remember a tornado warning. Never. But moved to Oklahoma, Kentucky, and I'm out there looking for them.
A little more prominent, aren't they?
They are, and there's a lot more scares of them, like warnings instead of watches, not warnings. I think the worst one I was in was probably Veneta, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
That was back when, let's see, that had to have been 28 years ago or so. And the police would go up and down the streets wailing their sirens, and they would use their bullhorns. Everybody get inside, take shelter.
Right.
And it's
just said you could
when this stuff happens at night, you can't see it.
Yeah, unless the only thing that you could ever see is either the lightning flashes, power flashes, and of course, obviously that train-like roar that proceeds.
Yeah.
Now, Edson, you could start to add Virginia. Each season we get worse. That's what I've also heard too. Is that
the weather's getting crazy? It is. Crazy.
In my personal,
it's going to continue to get crazy because the climate's changing, and plus you got to remember the Earth is tilting on its axis.
Yep.
So it's got to be getting to that spot where
things are just going absolutely out of control.
Well, the laws of nature just goes out the window.
And you know what tonight is?
Oh, isn't it the blood moon?
Yes, it is. And now people are talking about, you hear this once every year at least, but you're hearing all the my goodness, the Bible says that when the second coming, there's going to be the moon is going to turn to blood and the sun is going to turn black. And so, everybody's freaking out. This is our once a year thing, I hope.
Sean said last year, Ardsdale, if I spell that right, got hit by a tornado. Then a month later, got hit by an EF4. Just starting to put the pieces together. See, I'm really surprised.
No,
Surprised Sean
hoping
said
I
that.
see it.
I'm surprised Sean says that he can't see it too much because like in a state like Oklahoma and also considering a lot of the rural areas, they're pretty easy to spot. I was going to say, I think in my personal opinion, the deep southern states, like what I just mentioned, are probably worse than like Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and
Oh,
Texas.
We derailed from tornadoes. He's talking about the blood moon.
Oh, I didn't.
We
No, he
derailed.
was okay. Oh, I thought he was talking. Okay, never mind.
He said he couldn't see the blood moon too much.
Blood
too many
moon. I thought he
clouds.
was talking about tornadoes still.
No, and you can't. If there's too many clouds or nighttime, you're not going to see that tornado
No.
either.
Well, yeah. I think we might be able to see it tonight. I'm not sure because right now it's clear, but I don't know if it's going to be like that for the entire evening.
I don't know, but I'm sure going to find out.
What time is it supposed to start?
It's different everywhere.
Okay.
Let's see, I want to say like about 1:45.
Oh, so like, oh wow, around 2 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, so 1:45 for you.
Yeah.
And the whole phase is supposed to take like a half hour.
12:26 to 1:32 a.m. for me.
For here 1:30 to 2:30 because where he's at, I'm in the same time zone as him. So that's Central CST 1:30 to 2:30 for us.
I will have to set my alarm because I know I won't be awake.
Yeah.
Not supposed to rain or anything. Put the crystals out tonight.
I most certainly won't be up. It would be. Plus, I don't know what the clouds are going to be like over here either. So even if I was awake, I don't know if I'd be able to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen my neighbors. You guys have seen my neighbors that the ones in the real nice house, the Hispanic neighbors. And 3 to 3:30. Wow.
Yeah, for
Yours way late.
Yeah.
Early. I'm not sure which. The first time that I put all the crystals, because you know how many crystals I've got, I took them in a little basket, took them out to the little table outside and set them all out so they could all get the same amount of sun or moon. And then I put some on the ground because they're huge. And he woke up before I got him out. And I can imagine, and I'm sure his culture is scared to death.
Yeah. Let's see. We can go from witchcraft to demon worship,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Satan worship.
Yeah. I'm quite sure that all those went through his head.
Yep.
It's
Expect at
years that you know.
59.
Yeah, you need. I got caught in one in Walmart one time. And I'm telling you, Walmart is not a safe place for that. They have those skylights,
Yeah, they do.
all of that. No, it is not a safe place.
When is any store a safe place? That's where you're going to get the riots, the looting.
Yeah. They usually have like the community places you can go to, but by the time you realize it is that bad for you to have to go, it's too late.
Yep.
That's
You're not
right.
taking your car out there.
That's what I'm always concerned about, especially in my store, because, yeah, we're a huge facility, but that doesn't mean that something like that could ever happen.
Yeah, you just have to stay in the center if that happens.
Yeah, especially like with what Sean want to save room. So we don't even really have a safe room at our grocery store. So I'm always concerned of what happens if we had tornado warning.
I would
They put
almost want
us
to be right up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, those of us that were shopping, they put us in the break room at Walmart.
Okay.
Hey, 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 hey now.
What?
Hey,
Not allowed to do that
We're
anymore.
PJs.
I have no problem with that, but
I'm wearing
not
my
allowed to do that.
PJs right now. Hey,
I'm not allowed to go to Walmart like that no more. I have no problem wearing my little fuzzy slippers either.
oh, I've seen those.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I got these really nice. I got these really nice PJs for Christmas that they're so comfy. But in addition, and I know it seems kind of old fashioned, but in addition to that too, I also have a nightcap that I sometimes sleep with nowadays.
Oh my gosh. A night.
How
What
can
on earth?
anybody wear those things when they go to sleep?
What's that?
How can anybody wear those things? And like,
It's
what
comfortable.
are they for?
It's comfortable. What the hell? That's like
It's
wearing
actually,
socks to bed.
I
yeah,
have
it kind of is.
enough time going to sleep with my hair.
Yeah, but it's soft, it's comfortable, and it fits well with my PJs.
Yeah, but see, nobody in your dreams is going to see what you're actually wearing.
Yeah,
We don't need to be fashionable to go to bed.
tell that to Tom.
Yeah, we didn't need to know that, Tom. Thanks.
Woohoo!
You ought to go on Naked and Afraid then, Tom.
Yeah.
Not this season. There's a lady with no legs this season.
What?
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to next week because I can finally cut all this off.
Oh, no offense, but your head then will be naked and afraid.
From the neck up, I can be naked. From the neck down, you don't want to see this. Trust me, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
know, I am so ready. As soon as I get back home, I've decided I'm going to wait till I get home and then I'm going to cut all this off. So next week, if I come on the show, if I have time, that'll be the last time you'll see me with hair.
Is that going to also include the beard too?
Uh, I'm going to be doing something with it. I because every year I do a different beard style for the tournament, and I've narrowed it down to two. One is like one of those sleazy villain uh, goatee types where you have the mustache and it comes down, and then you have the strip down here, but this is shaved and all the rest of this is shaved. I'm
Oh,
I'm thinking about that, or I'm thinking about doing mutton chops.
mutton chops.
Yeah, you know what mutton chops are?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about doing that.
Hmm.
Just haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet.
Well,
Oh
that should
my
be
God.
interesting.
You're charging your ass during the full moon. I already know.
I might. It's just like what I talked about the other night when
That is not a crystal. It does not need charged. You might
I
need
was just
tan.
thinking. Says that he'll be charged. Yeah,
What
I
if
actually
you
thought
could
he
charge a
said,
crystal?
huh?
Hmm.
What if you could charge a crystal?
Yeah.
Why can't you?
I actually thought by first
You
reading
can,
it,
but that's not what he's going to be charging.
see, when
Well,
I
I know
first read
that's
that,
not
I
what
actually
Tom is charging.
when I first read this, I first thought he meant that I misread. I thought he said he was going to be changing during the blood moon, and it just made me think back of that picture I showed you guys of him.
Uh,
He had a weird looking fit. I'm standing in the background.
Yeah, Tom, that thing ain't a
charging
crystal.
something,
You
all
don't need to charge it. You might need to tan it, but
yeah, you'll be
ain't going
charging.
to help to charge it.
So there is something I want to bring up. I don't know if we want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but
Think I might know what it is
it
already.
it has brought up some of the ugliness of people.
Yep.
Oh, what hasn't?
Yeah.
True, but this one here is just not right.
A lot of those. That's not narrowing it down.
Yeah. What sickened me is I think it started the day of. People started posting those marked safe memes,
Oh, okay.
and
I've
this
seen
one
them
here
otherwise.
says marked safe from Aaron Goodwin's wife.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
nobody on my feed. I have not seen that meme.
I have not gotten that either.
I
I
have.
I've
I
gotten like
apparently.
the marks. I've gotten the mark safes like when it comes to again like weather disasters, but I haven't got anything like that.
I've
Well,
gotten marks.
those are fine. Those are legitimate.
Right. I've
But
got marks safe from the transgender mice, but
Oh my
that's
god.
I've
about
seen
it.
that too. I've seen that too. But this one here, this is a serious thing.
Yeah, it is.
That under no circumstances should anybody be making any kind of a joke out of that.
No,
No,
The man's
absolutely
life
not.
we're talking about.
that's just like so disrespectful.
Well, I mean, what's he done to anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard any stories about him being mean, hateful. Now, his co-host, on the other hand, I have.
Yeah, he's the
Not him.
he is literally completely opposite of Zach. I'm just gonna throw that out.
Yeah, I've never heard of him being disrespectful to fans or, anything. Now, I was actually really shocked when I really had to look it up before and the only reason I ever reposted or even said anything, I said something to y'all, but I had to really look after that. And then David posted it. So then I went and looked and I was like, wow. Oh, and then, um, who else posted
Well,
that?
to be fair, it's really hard to take the word of TMZ
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
because they don't exactly have the greatest of reputation. But when People Magazine, People.com is posting about it, that tells me this is legitimate.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, it was Jason Hawes that posted it.
Yeah, it
And,
was.
yep.
and so I was like, okay. And then people were on his page going, that's bullshit. That's fake news. And then saying the same things, so nasty, nasty comments. And Jason has come back at him with some of
Oh,
those.
yeah, he really has. I mean, when you sent that to us, Adrian, then when I later found out that Jason had posted, that's when I basically was like, oh my god, like this is actually serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people to start making light of it, making a joke of it, you know what? You're a stupid idiot.
Yeah.
Well, and then David posted, the guy who, I don't know if this guy was contracted to do it. I don't think so. But he had knowledge of it and he had covered it on a podcast just a couple of nights before that David had watched before her arrest, not before
Yeah.
anything happened. But I mean,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, look on David's page. He says something about it. He just doesn't give a lot of clarification on it. But watch. We've got, and I'm not trying to get political, but we've got people going to jail for less. I'm going to
Yep.
put it that way. And watch, she's going to be out.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be swept under the rug like nothing happened.
And to make matters worse in this case, obviously for Aaron, it's gonna be no justice for him.
No. And the worst thing, put yourself in his shoes for a minute. He is right now, we don't know the whole story, but he is right now, I'm sure, still looking over his shoulder at
Yeah.
locations.
He is going to be looking over his shoulders for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
But
they can say they know who she contracted, but she could have contracted 2 or 3. I mean,
it's
and
at
he
this
doesn't know who they are.
it's at this point where, considering not only does he have to look over his shoulder, like if he's still doing like ghost adventures in this case, I would honestly be quite surprised, because it's like, because for most people that are especially in show business or whatever, they're going to want to disappear out of the public eye for a while.
Sure. And didn't he like leave Ghost Adventures for a little while and then came back?
I don't know. I don't know if he ever
I
did.
think he did.
I know Nick had permanently left, but I don't know about him.
I've never heard of.
Nixon, what?
No, I'm not very what? Yusi? What?
Usi.
Usi. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
So the
Quit.
word oos,
Ooh,
It's
shit. What the hell
Samoan.
is that?
It's Samoan, and it's like the Samoan word for brother or family.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
didn't know that either.
and you know how everybody is always calling each other brother and sister. To me, that has lost meaning. So for people that I am especially close to, I have called them my oos. Scott Wilson,
Hmm.
Tim and Crystal Cole, I called them my oos. Because, during that time, I was closer to them than anyone else.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't go around calling everybody brother, because people have diluted that so much to where it means nothing. And there was a thing a couple of years ago where the Usos, the namesake, in WWE, they were going to this like internal issues thing, and Sami Zayn, one of the guys in this thing, was saying that he's not feeling very oozy.
Oh.
When you know the term, you get it. If you don't know the term, you're not going to get it.
Yup. I
Oh, wait a
definitely
minute,
have.
Tom. He left in November you mean this happened clear back in November?
No, this didn't happen in November. This was just recent. I don't know if it was another
Are we
incident.
sure?
I'm looking right now, and like for example, like Philip Gibson just posted this like 7 hours ago of a video, and this was about 21 hours ago. So this is still a very recent case.
Huh.
I don't
Yeah, there's a
I wonder
lot
if
of
she's
people
still in
posting.
jail.
It says here that see, a lot of people are remaining hopeful that she will do life imprisonment, but again, like you said, Adrian, it's probably going to be swept under the table, sadly.
I
Well,
really hope not.
first of all, they have to be able to have undeniable proof.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
And
they had to have a lot of proof to arrest her.
yeah.
the saying that they had her phone, I think, and they were looking at these text messages.
Okay. I
That right
figured she
there,
contracted a cop at some point.
yeah, that right there should be proof enough. Although the defense could come up with the argument is, okay, yeah, it was her phone, but that doesn't mean she was using it.
Right.
Well,
Right.
not only that, I mean, she was also in contact not only with someone who was going to be a hitman, but he was also an inmate at a Florida prison. So let's not also forget the fact too that the inmate was not even supposed to have a cell phone in a correctional facility.
Yeah.
That's how she was contacting. Like she was going to hire him once he got released from prison, and she snuck the phone in, obviously. So, you know, she obviously. So she's also probably going to be charged too in that case for bringing up a prohibited item, a cell phone, into a correctional facility. In most states, that's a third-degree felony.
Yeah.
So that right there, if convicted, that's a long jail sentence.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a very serious. That's a very serious offense.
We
Yeah.
can only hope.
I just looked around. Yeah, the articles are coming in like
The
crazy.
problem
So
is,
this must.
even if she is in jail, that doesn't mean it's over.
No.
Here, get
He
this.
is
Oh wow,
always
she was.
going to be looking over his shoulders for a very long time.
She just got
Definitely.
arrested
She
after
was.
the investigation.
My God, she was the same age. She's the same age as me,
Okay,
and
so Tom is saying, sounds like he's saying it did happen in November. She was just arrested. The
I'm not.
investigation's been ongoing since then.
I'm not seeing anything about that. I'm looking at some of the articles. Well, for starters, um, first off, the hitman. Okay, so let me take that back. I don't even know how this would be possible. The hitman that she tried hiring, it was a guy named Grant Amado, and he was in fact okay. So not only was he already in prison, I take back what I said. He already had committed a prior murder. He was convicted, found guilty of first degree murder, and sentenced to life imprisonment prison back in 2019. So I'm not even sure how he would even be able to get out if he was going to be sentenced to prison for the rest of his life.
Well,
But
even convicted of murder, you can be given a sentence that will allow you parole.
I don't know. I know Florida's pretty rough with people who've
It
committed murder.
depends on the state, and it also depends on the judge or the jury that does the sentencing.
Yeah,
It,
says let's see. Oh my god, this is kind of it's kind of a little disturbing. Like, because they said you were saying about the text messages. Uh,
yeah.
okay, they're not really posting a lot of it, but there's one that just really bothers me the most. When they were texting, to kill Aaron, uh, she says in one message, "I'm so anxious." LOL, LOL. Like she thought this was going to be something fun, basically. Like she didn't even think about the seriousness of this.
Well, I saw somewhere that she had written, I don't know if it was in a letter to that guy or to someone else from jail. She wrote something that said, "Does it make me a bad person that I want to end his
Yep,
existence
Yep, I saw
instead
that.
of
I saw
a
that.
divorce?"
Yep.
The
Oh,
answer is
yes,
yes.
yes, it does.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, if you have to ask that, you need a mental evaluation.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that he's got that much money.
I
That
don't think he does.
no, that it would warrant even thinking about it if that was the motive. I just can't imagine that.
She's got some kind of motive,
Yep.
Well,
and sometimes the motives are not exactly clear.
Okay, so I just found maybe you okay, so what Tom was saying about November or something like that. Okay, there is something about that, although it wasn't in November, it was in October. And it was just a text message that okay, it says police report states that October 2nd, Amado and Victoria Goodwin discussed here we go. Discussed setting aside $11,515 to hire a third person. Okay. So it wasn't the inmate. To hire a third person whose name has been redacted from the report to complete the job. The same
Redacted.
day, they also discussed Aaron's location and the make of his car,
it's
the report
awful.
states.
Hey, Alan, we're good. How are you?
How you doing, Ellen?
Hello. Yeah, it's just an extremely serious thing, and I'm sure Aaron did not want this to be public.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says here that Aaron could not
We
be.
know how TMZ, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, it says even right here, Aaron could not immediately be reached for comment.
Nor
So
will
he's
he
probably
be.
not saying
Blame
anything.
him? Do you
What's that?
blame him? If I was in his shoes, you're not getting a hold of me.
Yeah. He's not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
And get this. So
And besides, lawyers and police would
Yeah.
have advised him
Right.
to not be in contact with anybody.
well, that's
That
basically
would
like that with
include
any crime.
media,
Yeah, I
possibly.
was gonna say that's like that with any crime. Like for example, at my job, if let's say if we had some kind of robbery or some kind of illegal act occur, they've told us that we need to refrain ourselves from talking to the media or whatever, not give any details of whatever the case. So Aaron's just basically doing the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And get this, uh, it just doesn't make any sense because Aaron and Victoria appeared to have married in August of 2022, according to a post on his Instagram. In the weeks leading up to Victoria's arrest, the couple shared loving photographs of one another on social media. And now, get this just happened literally a month ago. On Valentine's Day, February 14th, she posted a selfie with her husband on Instagram and captioned the photo, "Mini golf with my Valentine," with a heart emoji. Aaron commented on the post, "I love you even though you crushed me in mini golf." And, it just, they were just saying this stuff a month ago. And now we find out about this dark side of the relationship.
Well,
He didn't know about it yet.
No, he didn't. He probably had no idea.
so from her end, of course she's going to be acting all sweet and innocent and in love and everything until this actually happens.
Yep.
But now
Victoria
she
Goodwin.
got caught, so she. I'm guessing she is in jail.
Yes, she is. It says here her next court appearance is scheduled for March 25th in Clark County. She's currently being held at the Clark County Detention Center. Her bail is set at $100,000.
I'm actually surprised that the judge even allowed her to have bail.
Right.
Either way.
$1,000 and she's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
No,
I
10,000,
doubt
I'm
she's going
sorry.
I
I'm
doubt she's going to get that kind of money.
You never know who her contacts are.
Surprised.
Yeah, then again. Yep.
Look at the guy that killed the insurance CEO.
That's right. Yep.
People have donated $300,000 to his defense.
I know. That's crazy.
I haven't heard anything else about that either.
That one was the latest, and that actually wasn't too long ago. I haven't been seeing anything online, but I did read about it in People Magazine. Speaking of People Magazine, I don't know if you guys caught it on my profile, but two or three issues ago, there was a little section in there about Russell Edwards
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Jack the Ripper.
Yep. I did see that on your page.
That was in People Magazine, so people are taking this seriously.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh,
It really is awesome.
something I didn't get to mention. I'm going to be on Ed's show. We're still figuring out the date exactly for sure, but I'll be on with Ed.
We
Huh?
were supposed
He-
Go ahead, Adrian. Go. Sorry.
The 13th.
Oh,
I
I
was gonna say,
just
we were supposed to be on Ed's show too.
Yeah, I think
He's trying to get his dates.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to being on Ed's show.
He's brave putting me on the show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Hey, he watches the show, so he knows how you are.
But he also knows I don't act that way on other shows.
Yeah,
I watch myself on other shows.
Touche.
Can't argue with that.
Speaking of shows,
I know when to behave. I just sometimes don't know how.
Times you lose the ability to flip the switch.
Oh yeah, yeah. My ass is old. That filter, it's worn out. Yeah. Well, actually, it rusted because I never used it.
Yep, absolutely, Tom. It very well could have been.
Yeah, he's absolutely right on that. Yep.
And that one there was a major shocker too.
It is still chilling to me that, because I don't know if maybe I told you guys a long time ago, I have met Mark and Debbie 10 about over 10 years ago. We had them at Schurz High School, as a matter of fact, for an investigation. And
About 10 years ago that when they died.
they died. Well, it was over 10 years ago, I said.
Yeah, let's think about how old you are right now, and let's think about when you were in high school. That was way over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I know it was. But no, I that was the only opportunity I got to meet Mark and Debbie, which, to be honest, they were really nice to actually chat and investigate with. And it was just a few days later. I think that's when this whole suicide, murder, or whatever it was, occurred. And it's chilling to me on my part because I had just seen them a few days prior. And it didn't look like there was anything wrong or anything bad between them.
Here it is, September 2015.
Yep.
So you
It's
would
just-
never know. I mean,
Yeah, 2 weeks after we met him.
okay, yeah, I mean that's something you would never know. Look at all the celebrities that were comedians and things like that that killed themselves. They made everybody else laugh, and we have one amongst us that's kind of the same way. That he lives in the depths of hell and still makes sure everybody else is laughing. So, that's actually a red flag for me when people are never down, never angry. That's a red flag.
Yeah, yeah.
Robin Williams.
Robin
Exactly.
Williams is one. Yep.
When
And
did
then-
you ever see that man sad?
Right. Him.
Very rarely.
Yeah. And Jim Carrey the other day posted something. We hadn't seen him in the limelight in a long time. And it was on his either Facebook or TikTok, and I don't remember which, but I ran across it. And it was him wearing just a beanie hat. Zach calls him a toque. It's a hat.
Two.
Anyway,
Well, that's kind of an interesting name.
we make fun of him for it. Even his son makes fun of him for it. But he was wearing just a one of those woven wool caps, and you could tell he was sitting like on a sidewalk, on a street, on a bench, something. And he said, "I am so tired of seeing all these videos of people that will walk up to a homeless person with a camera in their face and offer them food, and they have to take it because they're starving, and just do it for the reaction." The reason he's so passionate about this is he and his mom were homeless when he got his first acting gig, and then he bought her a home, but he lived on the streets. So it's like, I do see people do that a lot, and I'm glad it's happening, that they are feeding these homeless and they are helping, but you don't need to document it.
No,
just
you
don't.
don't.
Are you doing it for yourself, or are you doing it for them? If you're doing it for yourself, you need to go do something else.
Yeah, I get so tired of these media influencers.
Yeah.
Speaking of shows, last week we had a hell of a show.
Yes, we did.
The 100th anniversary, anniversary. The 100th
100th anniversary.
episode.
Wait about another 95 years, Jeremy, and then we'll get to 100.
99.
No, because you guys started back in 2020, so yeah, 95 years before the next 100th anniversary.
Yeah. Finally made it to 100 episodes and had all the hosts back. And it was just like we had done our last episode yesterday.
Mhm.
So really proud of that one.
That was just perfect.
It really was. It really was.
And I knew we were going to go over 2 hours, obviously, because it went on for quite a long time.
It was on like 3.5 hours, and I tried to upload it so that it would go on the 13th dimension page. And 3 hours was the cutoff for something pre-recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
So I had to go to the actual page itself and upload it there.
Well, either way, it got uploaded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it on there. Just so happy that I was able to make that show happen, and it was
It was even more amazing that, in spite of what she was going through, it was just amazing that even Crystal was even able to show up a few times.
yes. She was able to hop on for a good hour or so.
I didn't get to see her.
Yeah, it was the last hour of the show, last hour and a half, something like that she hopped on. So
At first, it didn't sound like she was going to be able to make it at all, unless like speaking off camera. But she eventually came on and sat down in front of the camera for a good hour.
she did. She did.
She was always a good host.
Yes, she was.
Host, hostess, whatever we want to call them.
I was laughing so hard, like when we played the introduction video, the credits video, especially again with that happy birthday song of Tim. And you can't see it on the show, but I had to look down on the bottom of the screen. I could see Tim's reaction. It was so damn funny.
Yeah. During the outro, he was going like this.
Like 3 times, and then like the second time, oh, I could read his lips. Like, again?
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to show the best clips. That's the problem.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And boy, did I slave over those videos.
Yeah, that looked like I had to. Oh, what do we have here?
Thank you, honey.
Okay, so we got a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. We got BLT and fries and cheese sticks.
Oh, man, I envy you.
We're completely screwing this diet today.
So how many points is that one going to take?
This is probably around 29, which is a whole day's points.
I haven't even really eaten that much today, so I'll probably be having some after the show.
If I wait till I'm starving, I gorge myself with a whole bunch of garbage. And
I'm kind of a little bit concerned about this weekend because, again, since this is going to be St. Patrick's Day weekend, and my friends and I, we're going to be doing like a couple celebrations and whatnot. I mean, I don't really drink.
You're not going to be hurting for food. It's the alcohol that everybody's.
Well, no, what I was going to say was it's not, I don't really drink. I mean, I'll still have like a beer or two, but we usually, although I have a new friend of mine that's coming out that she said she's going to bring beer with, but we usually just have like soda and stuff like that. Of course, among one of those, which is a hugely popular drink to have around St. Patrick's Day, because obviously it's green in color, is Green River.
I meant to ask you about that. So when they turn it green, do they just let it go and it dissipates on its own, or do they put something in there to get rid of the green?
Yeah, it dissipates on its own, and a lot of people were always under when they first started doing this back in 1962. Throughout the 60s and 70s, although it was very popular during that period, I think it was I don't know exactly when, but not surprisingly, the chemicals that they were using was toxic to the Chicago River. So they had to switch to a different type of chemicals that wouldn't be toxic to like the marine, to the fishes and stuff like that. And that's what
Just use food coloring.
they do. They do use food. They use food coloring, I believe. And what's interesting is, get this. I just looked this up earlier today. When they use like hoses to fill out into the to put out into the water, when it shoots out first, it's not actually green in color. It's actually orange. And but once it makes contact with the water, it turns green. It turns into a bright Irish green color.
Okay.
And like I said, the chemicals that they use now, it won't have any hazardous effects to the marine life or environment or whatsoever. Because, like I said, usually it will hang around the river for a few days, but afterwards it will dissipate. There was I didn't know about this until recently, although they've been doing that for over 60 years. There was one time, however, now almost 10 years ago, in which the Chicago River was dyed another color. And in that case, they dyed the Chicago River blue because that's when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series. So in celebration of that, they dyed the river blue. Yeah,
That's okay.
and when I mean,
Hey, Mimi.
That's okay. Hey, happy birthday, girl.
oh, happy! I didn't know it was her birthday. Happy birthday!
I happened to see it right before I come on the show.
Okay.
That'll never happen again, so we won't have to worry about it turning blue again.
Well, and unless they win another World Series, but yeah, well,
Like I said, that'll never happen again.
well, it's only ever happened twice. I mean, when it happened back in 2016, the last time they won World Series was back in 1908. So over 100 years. So most likely, if it happens again, first off, back in 1908 again, this was prior to 1962. So they weren't dyeing the river way, shape, or form then, and it's going to be probably at least another 100 years before that ever happens again. And when I mean that they dye it blue, I mean they dye blue because you see rivers. Obviously, they have the bluish color. They dye the exact type of blue that's used for the Chicago Cubs, like a light blue color.
Mm-hmm.
So far, Alexa.
Hey.
So far, there's never been. I've always been curious though. There's no plans, however, that they're ever gonna dye the Chicago River red, though. Although I would admit that would be kind of a cool kind of cool to have for Halloween or Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seeing a red river that would bring hello. That would bring a whole bunch of
Welcome, Alexa.
Yeah,
now if only Brad was here.
yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. What were you saying though, Jeremy? Seeing the river red? What?
If the river was red, um,
What? What?
Who's this?
here we go.
We want a private reading. I'll do it.
Yeah.
We don't allow
We don't charge.
we don't allow private readings on this show, so take your little scam
Oh
out.
wait, yeah, it's the same message. I think it's spam.
Oh, it is. If Chris wanted a private reading, he knows where I'm at. Go on.
So go ahead, Jeremy.
Let me figure out which page this is.
Probably YouTube.
No, it's on Facebook.
I was gonna say, looks like it's yep. It's sending it's an automatic spam message.
Yeah.
Well, I can see your future, and I can tell you you're about to disappear.
Yep. So you were saying, Jeremy, one final time because I was kind of curious to hear what you were going to say if it was red.
Hmm?
If the river goes red, that would bring a whole lot of religious zealots out
Oh
there.
yeah, like the plagues from God delivering on the Pharaoh.
We
Um,
And
don't need to start that.
I was gonna say, and also there are like Google pictures you will see like of the Chicago River red. And contrary to popular belief, those are not real pictures. They're just it's Photoshop they're using.
See, you can't believe anything you see anymore.
No, you can't. I mean, the green obviously the
it's
green
photo.
obviously is true, and so is again the one time they dyed it blue, but red. That's those are all fake pictures.
Crazy.
Didn't you say? Remind me, Adrian. You asked me. I think it was last week. You want me to get a picture of the river
Yeah.
green? If that's correct. Okay,
Yeah.
so I should probably let you know. It looks like we're going to be heading downtown. Um, we're either going to go either Saturday or early Sunday. So, and we wanted to see the Chicago River Green anyway.
I know.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that picture for you. And I even told my friends I'm also kind of doing this now for a request for someone. So
Yeah.
I'll get that picture for you sent real soon once we head down there.
Yeah, that's as close as I'm going to get to it on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. It really is.
Yeah. No other town does that that I know of.
There might be, well, I don't know if New York does it, but there might be two other cities, but Chicago's the most is notorious for it than whatever other cities do it too. I don't even think Ireland, like any of their cities, do it.
No, they have some real stuff going on. They don't need to
Yeah.
dye that green. They have like bar hops here, pub crawls.
Yeah.
That's as close as it gets.
Prior to another history fact for you guys, prior to the 70s.
Oh, Savannah. Okay.
Oh, Savannah does okay. Prior
That's
to the
one place I would love to go to.
oh, that makes two of us. Here's a little trivia fact. Prior to the 70s on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, all bars and pubs were usually closed that day until yeah, but that was until the 70s. Since then they've kept them open, every
They
St.
realize they got money.
Yeah, they do. Well, and it gets pretty packed up too.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, guys, we got to shut it down. Jeremy's going to go to sleep on us.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been working on me. I'm fighting because I want to try to get to a full show if possible, but I'm fighting it.
Real quick,
You ain't going to make it, dude.
real quick, because I was just kind of curious. I looked it up about Savannah. In addition to that, too, they also dye the Forsyth Park fountain for the celebration as well.
Yeah, that's cute. I like that.
I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that looks like because I've never seen a fountain in this case with the water dyed green.
I've seen a lot of fountains with different colors for the holidays.
What I really enjoyed seeing when it comes to fountains is over at the Golden Corral. They have a chocolate fountain.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anymore.
Yeah, this is
You could take food, put them on a little stick, and dip it into the chocolate fountain. It's really cool.
oh, it's
Not
so
anymore.
good.
Not here.
Some of the casinos, in fact, Four Winds Casino up in Michigan has that too.
Do they still have it after COVID?
I don't know. Last time I heard, because Don, he was just recently there, and he said it was there. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. When I'm gonna send this to you guys through Messenger. Here is a picture of the fountain. So this is actually kind of cool. Check this out.
So while we're looking at this, I have a question and I want everybody's opinion on this. You want to tell me why we're having this bird flu crap going on?
That's what I've been wondering.
You want to tell me why no other birds are getting it? Seagulls, birds we don't eat.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
And why
Oh, that looks
is
cool.
no other
Yeah,
country
right?
around us having this issue?
Almost does look like more like Green River coming out of the fountain instead of water. But
It
anyways,
it looks like it belongs in the Emerald City.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but anyways, this talk about bird, I don't know too much like what's been going on with that recently because it just
I don't know anything about it.
Well,
I
that's
just know
why
that
our eggs are $10 a damn dozen.
it's 20 years ago it was like an absolutely deadly and contagious disease.
Mm.
Well, I can tell you right now, it is absolutely horrid to go through.
Yeah, it's
It's
bad,
flu
really
B.
bad.
Yeah, they call it influenza B now when humans get it. And I'm going to tell you what, we had it last year. It is no joke. It is, I'd rather have COVID than
And
that.
to make matters worse, not only can it be passed from birds to humans, but there are times that the virus may change or even mutate and can be passed from person to person.
Well, that's kind of a different story. But tell me why Canada, Mexico, no other country around us has this shit.
I wish I knew the answer.
And why do seagulls? We have seagulls all over here.
Yep, we have them too. We have them like in the parking lots.
Yeah. So why do they not come down with this?
Beats
Because
me.
only the birds you eat are coming down with this.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, that's for sure.
I wish somebody would prove me wrong and tell me that seagulls are coming down with this or robins or whatever else, because this is not sounding right to me.
No,
Something right.
none of this does. None of this does.
I'm gonna have to talk to my brother-in-law because he's quite the bird lover and expert. So I'm gonna have to ask him one of these days.
Ask him why Canada doesn't have any cases. Mexico doesn't have any cases.
Just the U.S. it does.
Mm-hmm. And why is it not contagious to other birds other than chickens and ducks and birds that we eat? Geese.
Right. Yeah, it just doesn't
Okay,
make
right.
a lot of sense. Yeah,
I
she
don't
thought
like it.
made me said my thought as well.
Yeah. Well, something ain't right. Something is not right. And I wish I knew what it was, but even if I knew, nobody believed it anyway. But
Right.
Well, there was a major recall of chicken product last year.
mm-hmm. Oh, this is going on 2 years now.
And then a lot of product for that one.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is going on 2 years now. Before that, it was Mad Cow. Okay, Mad Cow was all over the place. I get that.
That
Let's
was
not forget
all
swine.
ago.
Let's not forget too swine flu.
That wasn't near as bad. That was contained quickly.
Yeah.
But something ain't right with this.
When is everything ever right with anything?
Well, we're about to get chickens this spring. And, we're going to find out if they start coming down with it, from other birds. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to have chickens and we're going to raise them and have the eggs and butcher them and all kinds of things.
So how many eggs are you allowed per chicken before you have to butcher them?
How many eggs per chicken?
Yeah, like how many? I don't know how this works.
It's unlimited. It's unlimited. Just like people, when the chicken gets too old, its eggs will either lay real soft and brittle, or it'll get stuck inside of them, and they die.
Okay.
But eventually, they stop laying. Yeah, I don't blame them with the price of eggs. This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Ours had finally gone up. if I remember right, it was 9 something, but that was for an 18 count.
Ours was 7 something for a dozen. We were in Walmart last weekend, and the lady was starting to take down price tags at the egg shelf. And we're looking at her. She goes, "You better get them now." Well, before I put this up, it went up 40%. But she was walking around telling everybody, "Hey, if you want them, come get them."
I remember seeing videos where people were taking massive cartons at a time.
It's like the toilet paper scare.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh God, that was crazy.
That actually happened right at the beginning of COVID.
Yep.
Yep. I remember,
Everybody,
and our store was no exception. We had none of that
it
for a
wasn't
month.
just toilet paper, but it was so many other things. People started panic shopping.
Yeah.
And that left me with no choice but to do panic shopping.
Right.
I wasn't panic shopping because of the pandemic. I was panic shopping because of everybody else doing it.
Let's think about it. If there's going to be something where stores are closed, I mean, there was only a couple of times that I had to wait at Walmart for hours in a line because they'd only let a few people in at a time so that you could distance. Okay. That never made sense to me because they're touching those things that you're about to go touch.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, but whatever. But why toilet paper?
Yeah, really.
You can grab a notebook, do this with the paper, make it a little bit flimsier, and wipe your ass. You can take a wash rag, wipe your ass, and wash the damn thing. What did they do years ago? Come on now. That's not the necessity. Food is
Yep.
your necessity.
That's what I
Water.
was thinking too.
I mean, let's think logically here. Wiping your ass is like you can go out in the yard and get lamb's ear. Do the same thing. Why? People need rednecks around. Seriously. They'll starve for food if they don't have rednecks around.
Right, right.
I just worry about where human society is going.
I know it's just going from bad to worse.
Down the toilet.
Yeah, it really is.
Because we have been on the verge of a civil war for years.
And it's coming.
Yeah, which I'm surprised it hasn't happened anytime sooner.
Yeah, I think in a way it kind of is and has. It's just not full blown quite yet. But you know, in the last Civil War, we had brothers fighting brothers,
Right.
dads fighting sons.
And we got that happening now.
We have
That's
it happening
correct.
now. It's just in a different way.
Yeah.
And somebody brought up a really good point today that really makes you think. And Nick, I'm sure you know kind of what I'm talking about. There's ancient civilizations that were so far more advanced than we are.
Oh yeah.
And there's a story that's supposed to be true. I'm not vouching for it. But there was what they called the ant people. It's short for something and I don't remember what.
Yep.
But they were like guardians for the world because the other two worlds had already been destroyed. The two ahead of us. And they weren't here, but they were ahead somewhere in the universe.
Yeah.
And they were destroyed by either flood or fire. And so the ant people were watching for our civilization and made people go underground until it was over. And they made sure that they had sustenance, they had, you know, what they needed to survive till it was okay to come out. But, you know, the moral of the story is we already had the knowledge we have now and more. And we fucked it up somehow. And we're about to do it again. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I think
I
what
know.
it is,
Exactly, Tom.
it has to do with learning our history,
Hmm.
and people are tearing down and trying to get rid of certain reminders of certain parts of our past, especially in the South.
Hmm.
Yep.
And people are always saying that if you don't learn from our history, if you try to erase certain things from our history completely,
You
we
don't.
are going to be doomed to repeat it. And it makes me wonder if that's what happened.
Yeah, very
In
possible.
that scenario you just laid out for us.
Yeah, and
It's just
they talk about the pyramids being alien. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe we were that civilized back then that we knew,
yeah.
and then we screwed it up. Because here we are again, learning from the bottom up.
See, that's basically the
Yes, it
reason.
does.
That's pretty much the reason why, for the longest time, and even though, and it does reflect on our history too. Is like that's why I have a very hard time having to cope with when they tear down historic buildings and stuff like that. Even though these were buildings, either people, whether people lived on them or served like a different role or whatever,
Mhm.
it still sends as a reminder of our past. And if you
Yeah,
tear it down, yeah, if you tear it down, like
True.
what role that building may have served, then like you said, we're just going to repeat it.
it does.
Well,
But at some point in our society, it's going to be just one gigantic city.
Yeah,
We are not going to be able to tell from when we went from, say, from New York
to
to
LA.
to Chicago is all going to be one big city. They have already done that in Florida.
yep,
The
Yes, they have.
entire East Coast is one large city.
yep. And it's starting to happen here. There's no, I mean, when we talk about country, it's rare. It's rare to see it where there's not either the electric windmills or, something. It's rare to see anymore a field full of cattle and miles of nothing. It just, it's rare.
See, and I love
In Nevada,
whenever we drive across. I love it when we drive across the country, like just to be out in the open plain fields and stuff like that. And that's just, come to think of it now, I'm just going to throw this out, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You're also exposing even more danger, like when it comes to like tornadoes, for example, because with all these buildings in the way, it's like as if they have no, it's like almost in a way, it's like they have nowhere to go. They have no open space because we have built a constant city,
Well, they're
which
going to go where they
is
want
a
to,
recipe for
but
disaster.
if you want complete isolation, Nick, Nevada's the place to go.
I knew you were going to say Nevada.
Yeah, because when I and since I'm going to Nevada next year, I get to do this again. Come into West Wendover, stay the night there, and then instead of continuing on 80, where I can be in Reno the next in 6 hours, I will be taking alternate 93, which to me is the most desolate highway.
I believe it.
They're saying 50 is, and I can see it to a point, but in alternate 93, where it merges to the actual 93, there is nothing.
yeah, but maybe let's think about it. Fracking, okay, like in New Mexico, fracking was everywhere. They had signs, sinkholes possible. It's never happened, but
I
it's,
got gas today for 268.
yeah, yeah, and that's, yeah. But did you see
Sam's Club is always 20-25 cents cheaper than anywhere else.
there's a huge red flag that happened yesterday, I believe? Well, I heard about it yesterday, so I'm not going to say when it happened. Anyway, our, yeah, it kills me to say it anyway. Our president, um, He bought an electric car.
Oh, really? Why am I not surprised?
I'm very surprised because wasn't he the one drill, 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 baby?
Yep,
Yeah, he was.
he
Well, guess
was.
what?
He
Drill, drill,
drilled
drill for what?
oil or whatever the case he's looking for.
Uh-uh. Well, some of our resources, a lot of our resources come from Canada. Now, I've heard a whole lot of people bitching. Why is our shit coming from Canada? Who in their right mind allowed some other country to have control over us? No, it's because they have the resources we do not. And it's called a partnership.
Yep. Well,
It,
and
that's where I don't understand the lines in this world. I don't. This is a whole world. We should all be sharing everything because there's different things in all parts of this world. One country doesn't have it all.
well, and again, even like you talk about Canada, same south side for Mexico. There's products we get, like I said,
Sure.
our produce, we get vast majority of it from Mexico, Central and South America. And
How many?
coffee too. That's where coffee originates from.
How many? Well, that's more Guatemalan,
Well,
Costa Rica, Puerto Rico.
I was going to say it's parts of Central, not all of it, but parts of Central and South America.
I've seen those asses that, you know, they have the bags on them and carry it down the mountain. I've seen it myself firsthand. I hate it for the animals, but I love my coffee. But let's think about why are we drill, baby, drill, and then we're buying an electric car. Now, he was opposed to the previous president talking about giving tax breaks and all these things for electric cars because not necessary. We have all well, apparently we do not. But how many of us, I mean, women, not us, obviously not us, have had boob jobs done in Mexico? How many go get medication in Mexico? I guarantee you when I lived in New Mexico, I did. Because when COVID hit, it was those Mexicans, I can promise you, that were lining up from youngest to the oldest. And I'm talking the oldest being 90 years old.
Yeah.
Bent over, asses showing, and giving them a cocktail of three things: penicillin, ivermectin, which is actually for cows. Here in America, they took it away from humans because it cures almost everything. Now they say it's only animal grade. I promise you it's not. I've taken it. It is not animal grade. But,
At this
and then there was one other pill.
point,
There was one other pill. They gave him that cocktail. None of them. They all recovered from COVID. Every one of them. You damn straight I went and got that cocktail. Now, I didn't take it because I never got it. But I had it on hand. There's things we can learn from other countries.
Yeah.
And there's not a reason we shouldn't. Because we think it's strange. Because we have, oh no, this is for humans, this is for animals, this is for... Let's learn a little from others. Things that work. The moon mission. Oh, yeah. He better find something else to make the 51st state because Canada damn sure ain't having it.
They've already made that clear. So has Denmark with Greenland.
I hope they
I
stand
never
for the
heard
right.
anything about Greenland in a while.
Yeah, he wants to add Greenland too, but considering Greenland is owned by Denmark, the Danish government have already said no, that is not going to happen.
I can understand wanting to go after Greenland, not just necessarily for the oil, but also because of its location, because it's part of the North American continent.
Yep.
So,
But it hasn't been part of us, so
It's
he
never been
shouldn't
part-
force them
There's
to
only
be
so
part of
and
us.
that's probably another reason to make it a part of us so that it actually is a North American place instead of a European place.
Yeah.
I get
Only
that from that angle,
I
but I
think that
also
came from
get
the
the other
Vikings
angle.
well, and
when
there's
they fought.
only ever been
Huh?
Denmark. They've owned Greenland now for over 400 years. Only one other country had owned Greenland prior before Denmark had 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 taken possession of it. And ironically enough, that was an they were both it was both by two different Scandinavian countries. The only other country that ever owned Greenland prior to Denmark was Norway. And Norway ended I don't remember the full story of it, but Norway basically just pretty much offered and gave Denmark Greenland. It was really just that kind of thing where they were just like, "You guys want this? You could have it." And
Oh, they
Denmark
didn't offer it.
happily, huh?
Dig a little deeper. They didn't offer it, and they didn't give it.
I
Watch
thought that's what I
Vikings. Watch the movie. It is as close to the history books as you can get.
What is
wait.
it?
What was that last part? Because you froze there for a second.
It's as close to the history books as it can get.
What is it?
The movie Vikings.
Oh, Vikings. Oh, I haven't seen that movie yet.
It is amazing, and you learn so much history just by watching it.
See, okay, now I just decided to look it up.
Providing they can
Greenland's,
say history accurate.
Greenland's history is intertwined with both Norway and Denmark, with Norse settlers from Norway initially establishing a colony in the 10th century, so over 1,000 years ago. Later recognizing the Norwegian king's overlordship, while the Danish claim stems from subsequent European presence.
The Danes were quite. If you watch that, you'll see.
Yeah.
The Danes were quite something.
Historians believe a guy by the name of Eric the Red, he
Yeah,
founded, wow,
he's in it.
yeah, he founded an early colony in Greenland in 985.
Yep. He's in the Vikings, and all the names in there were people that were actually their graves were found, and they knew who they were, and there was actual records of them. Now,
Yeah,
some of the Vikings, there is no record simply because they didn't read or write. But when they met with, more civilized countries like Francia, things like that, they did the writing and the history. So that's how you knew who they were and what they did.
right. Well, and considering that Denmark and Norway, being Scandinavian countries, where I know that's where, if I'm thinking correctly, that's where some of the Vikings, you
Oh yeah.
know, were
Oh yeah.
originally from.
Oh
It
yeah.
even says here too that the Danish, again, similar, just pretty much, not to sound like I'm repeating myself, Danish claim to Greenland, even though Norway had owned it prior, the Danish claim to Greenland stems from the Norse settlement in the 90s, and it lasted until the early 15th century when Norse settlements vanished. So that's probably when Greenland kind of had more control over it. The Inuit, descendants of the Thule people, mitigated to Greenland in the 13th century, become the island's sole occupants after the Norse settlements vanished.
Yeah. Watch Vikings. Once you get done with that, there's another kind of sequel to it. It is not the sequel to it is not 100% accurate, but it does kind of continue the story as much as they know. I don't regret watching it. I loved it, and I hate it when it ended.
Hang on a second. I'm going to look.
Yeah, 9 minutes left.
Okay, how long ago was this movie?
Oh gosh, baby.
Oh, is it an old movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is probably it. It's just the Vikings. Yeah, came out back in 1958.
Oh no, not that
That's
old.
not that one? Okay.
No, let me look it up.
I was going to say, it says here Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis, and Orson Welles is in it, but I guess that's not Janet Leigh, but I guess that's not the right one then.
The who's in it is let me find him. One of the best shows ever made lands on Netflix. Okay. Um, there's Vikings Valhalla series, and then there's Vikings. Okay.
Is that the one from 2016?
First episode was March 3rd, 2013.
Okay, so it's a TV show. Okay, so from 2013.
6 seasons.
Wow. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look this up.
Yep. And when you do go to watch it, pay all the respect in the world to Lagertha.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Like, there was a movie that came out of it, too, that was just simply called Viking in 2016. It's interesting. This was, it's not an American movie. It was actually made in Russia. It's a Russian movie.
Okay.
Yeah, about medieval Prince Vladimir the Great, Prince of Norgod. Huh, so
And then there's Vikings Valhalla.
yeah. So
And
even
that one was not as good as the first, but it was still really good about, talking about what happened to some of these countries. And then it tells, it does their personal stories and what they go through. That's pretty cool.
so it's obvious. Yeah, it even says here, even though this was made in Russia, the language for it is a combination of Russia, Swedish, and Norwegian. So, yeah, so even Russia made a movie about this. They're not even a Scandinavian country, but
Right.
that's where the Vikings they did pass through there.
Yeah.
When they had the Bering Land Bridge.
It shows that in the Viking movie too, because Ivar the Boneless, that's where he went to go hide, was in
Yeah.
Russia. And it shows all that. It's pretty cool. Now, whether he really did or not, there's no history showing that he really did. But
Even if
Ivar
he
the
didn't-
Boneless did live.
I was going to say, even if he didn't, that doesn't mean other Vikings
Right.
did travel across, because I think at that
Oh, they
point,
did.
Russia at that time was just kind of, I mean, I know it had a huge history of its own, but in some parts, Russia was just nothing more than just a pass-through area, just to get from one area to the next.
They had a very large army at that time too.
They did. Oh, yeah, it was huge.
A feared army at that time. And still do.
Yeah, they still do, yeah. And of course, in other parts of Europe, you also, of course, and this is kind of more for Tim, I would say, Jeremy, but then, of course, you also have the Ottoman Empire that was trying to take over other parts of Europe, including, obviously, Wallachia, now modern-day Transylvania, Romania.
Yeah.
And Tim
Oh,
would,
that was later. That was later after the Vikings.
Tim would know something about that.
Yeah, he definitely would. He definitely would. But I'm going to have to check out. But the bottom line is, I mean, going back to what we were saying earlier, though, like it's just nuts that he wants Greenland, and that's, like I said, they've already put their foot down saying that's not going to happen. But all this talk about the supposed 51st state, I don't know if you guys heard about this recently, but there's actually been talks recently about wanting to make Northern California and Southern Oregon a state of itself.
California has been wanting to do that themselves for a very long time because they are so different.
Yeah, there was like an attempt a few years ago that because of how large it is, they wanted to cut it in like 3 different states. But now there's
any state, if they're going to cut any state, Texas should be the one.
Yeah, they can be cut, or even Alaska, because of how huge it is.
Alaska isn't necessarily of consequence.
No, you try living there. Mm-mm. It takes a special person born and raised there or somebody to teach them how to live there, because you don't just go there and decide you're going to live on the land, because it ain't going to happen.
No, it's not, because it's very rural, and a lot of. I will say this. I mean, about Alaska, there's a popular misconception about this, but I've actually spoken to people who were always under the belief that Alaska was this year-long winter wonderland. And while that may be the case for the most northern part of the state, the rest of the state, especially down in the south, it actually gets quite warm. But aside from that, it's quite difficult to actually live there.
It doesn't get too warm.
Not well, I mean, yeah, it's not, doesn't get hot, but it does get pretty warm though, like in the 60s.
Don't forget that they also go months long of nothing but daylight and months long of nothing but darkness.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't
Funny
do it.
enough, same thing happens in parts of Norway and Sweden. They go through the same phenomenon.
Yeah.
They can all keep it because it ain't happening.
But yeah, they just recently were talking about the next most recent attempt. They wanted to try to make a new state. They wanted to cut part of California and Oregon off because of how this was a rural area. There was just not too many people living in this area, and they had a proposed name for this one. They were going to call it simply Jefferson.
They need to leave well enough alone.
Yeah. If they're going to turn anything into a state, they need to turn the current territories that we have.
Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands,
Yeah.
American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, and Guam. And also
This,
now even including the capital, Washington, D.C.
yeah. Why that one is not, I don't know. All right. We got 2 minutes to the end of the show, and I'm about ready to kick it.
Well, let's say goodnight.
Yeah. I also got to get myself something to eat afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to just go straight to bed. In double vision for a while now.
All right. Well, let me know you made it.
Yeah. Keep us posted.
Oh well. It'll be Saturday afternoon, evening, more like. But if I can get there by 4 p.m., that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
It should be.
I'll be like within half a mile, I think, of where Eileen lives.
You are going to be having a fun time with Eileen. I can certainly promise you that. And Donald, man, that'll be great. That'll be great that you'll be able to see Donald.
I'll be seeing him on my trip back.
Okay.
That's why I'm waiting to cut my hair until after I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not only just keep us posted, most importantly, considering with all this bad weather that's happening across the country, most importantly, be safe out there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I do know Saturday we're getting rain. Sunday's supposed to be clear.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it happens.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not clear of buildings and homes.
Yeah. Only time will tell at this point.
I'll find out in less than 48 hours.
Yep.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Yep.
All right, everybody out there in the audience, thank you for playing along. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel like I usually do. I'm tired. We will just see you guys all next week.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a good night, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.